Hey everyone, welcome to Techno-Inclusivity, where you will be able to discover and learn computer softwares and mobile applications accessible for students and people with visual disability. This is my first time to launch a video tutorial, or a video to be exact. So bear with me, and if you like this content, consider liking the video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. So for today's tutorial, I will be showing to you and giving you an overview about Desmos web application. Before anything else, I would like to say that I am using a screen reader in my computer. A screen reader is an application in order for people with visual disability to use computers or even mobile phones. Now, a screen reader is what the name says. It will read everything what is displayed on your screen. So do not be surprised if you will hear a speech other than my voice coming out from this video.
Rate 15, rate 10.
I will not go deeper in explaining what is a screen reader. Maybe we could talk about it in another video, but for this time we will talk about the Desmos web application. Let's go right into it.
Google.
So I will open a web browser, then I will type in the address bar desmos dot com. That's DESMOS.com, and I will press enter.
Desmos.com selected. Desmos Beautiful Free Math loading.
It says Desmos Beautiful Free Math. That is the title of its homepage. Now you will see its
navigation
homepage.
Heading level
There
1
are so many texts that appears or displays that on your screen. So
main landmark, let's learn. Main
it says
heading level
here,
1, let's learn together.
let's learn together.
We're on a mission to help every student learn math and love learning math.
We're on a mission
Heading, we're on a mission to help every student
to
learn math
help
and love
every
learning math.
student will
Heading, we're on a mission to help every student learn math and love learning math.
learn math and love learning math. So what is the tool I want to demonstrate to you in this video?
Heading level.
If you will look at and expand a link in here,
Navigation landmark Desmos logo visited link. Math tools collapsed link.
math tools collapse. If you will hit your space bar and expand it,
Expanded.
you will see the different tools or products they can offer you for free. So first
List with 6 items graphing calculator visited.
is the graphing calculator. This is what I want to demonstrate to you, but let's go first and check out the other tools. They have
Scientific calculator link.
scientific calculator,
4 function calculator link.
4 function calculator. That's basically the typical calculator with 4 basic arithmetic operations.
Test practice link.
Test practices. That's test practices.
Geometry tool link.
Geometry tool, wherein you will be able to draw or construct geometrical shapes. Unfortunately, it is not accessible yet with screen readers. Maybe, hopefully in the future it will be.
Google Play Store link. iOS App Store link.
And so far, those are their free products or free web applications you will be able to use. So now let's go to the graphing calculator.
Google Play Geometry Tool Test Practice. 4 function scientific graphing calculator visited.
Yes, graphing calculator. So let's press enter on it.
Graphing calculator.
And it
Desmos Graphing Calculator.
opens. Now here's the thing. Our government is currently somehow having problems on how will the new normal be implemented. I mean, the education system be implemented in the new normal system without face-to-face classes. Students with visual impairment, with visual disability, are already struggling in their mathematics subject, especially when it comes to figures, shapes, and this graphing topics, because graphing topics are visual, thus they are having difficulties and experiencing great challenges when it comes to those lessons. So the solution actually needs to be a face-to-face interaction wherein the teacher or SPED teacher will be able to present to them, to the students with visual disability, a tactile version or embossed version of a Cartesian plane or the x and y axis with points plotted on the surface of the axis. But how will it be possible now that the education system will be shifting from face-to-face to online or virtual classes? Thus Desmos Graphing Calculator comes in, because this graphing calculator has a visual representation, of course, but it also has an audio presentation. How does it work? Let's find out. So first, I will press
Speak type characters off. Speak type characters input NVDA +1. Speak command keys on.
I will press Ctrl Alt E in order for me to go directly to the edit box where I can type an equation.
Alt CTRLE expression list.
Alt CTRLE, the screen reader says, and expression list. Now I will press down arrow.
Down arrow. Expression 2. Edit multi-line blank.
Expression 2. Then up
Down
arrow.
arrow. Expression 1.
1.
Edit multi-line blank.
Now you can enter several expressions in here.
Down arrow. Expression 2. Down arrow. Expression 3. Down arrow. Expression 4. Edit up arrow. Expression 3. Edit multi-line
So
blank.
let's
Up arrow.
go back
Expression 2.
to
Edit multi-up arrow.
box of
Expression
expression
1.
1.
Edit multi-line blank.
What do I mean by expressions? Of course, if you already had an experience dealing with the analytic geometry subject, you already know what I am talking about. Expressions, equations, linear equations, quadratic equations, something like those. So let's try first. I will enter first. I will give samples. First is a linear equation. Let's say in standard form a standard form of a linear equation is y
equals
is equal
y equals,
to
you need something on both sides of the symbol.
x plus
y
b.
b. Add slider for m b.
where m must not be equal to 0, but it can be greater than or less than to 0. And b can be of any value. Can be 0, can be greater than 0 or less than 0. Now,
NVDA tab, expression 2.
expression 2 must be the number you want to give on the m or the slope. So let's type m is equal to 1,
M equals 1 you need.
wherein the slope of the line is positive. So, and the b,
Down arrow. Expression 3. Edit multi-line
let's
blank.
try b is
Equals.
equal to,
B equals you need something on both.
let's say 2.
2.
Now, if you think about it, and if you have taken this topic already on your classes, your previous grade levels or year levels, you definitely know that this equation, the m is equal to 1, can be put in the standard equation of y is equal to mx plus b, wherein m is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2. Therefore, the equation will be y is equal to 1x, or x only, plus 2. And that equation has a graph. So now, like what I have said, graphs are visual representation, visually presented. Thus, how will students with visual disability be able to know that? Desmos Graphing Calculator has an audio graphing functionality. First, you have to press Alt T or Alt plus T in order to turn on or turn off the audio
Alt T. Expression 3 conduct the audio trace. Tracing expression. Up arrow.
tracing
Next.
mode. Well,
Escape audio.
you heard earlier that when I press Alt T, expression 3 cannot be
450,008.
audio traced. It's
Down arrow.
because
Up arrow. Expression 1. Down
my
arrow.
cursor
Expression 2. Down arrow. Expression 3.
was in the third expression, which is b is equal to 2.
Left arrow. Blank 2.
If you will think about it, b is equal to doesn't really have an equation. So what you must do is you will press up arrow to go to the first expression, which is the y is equal to mx plus b.
Up arrow. Expression 2. Up arrow. Expression 1. Y equals mx plus b as graph. The audio trace. Press Alt T. Edit multi-line
It says has graph. To audio trace, press Alt plus T. So let's press Alt plus T.
Alt T.
And
Graph paper.
it says
Shift F12. Shift F11. Escape audio trace off.
I just press escape to turn off the audio trace mode. You can just press Alt plus T again, or just press escape. I press escape and will press again to turn on the audio trace mode in order for us to hear or to know what the screen reader is telling us.
Alt T. Audio trace on. Use arrow keys to navigate. To hear the graph. Press H to disable audio trace. Press Alt T. Expression 1 intercepted X 0. Y 2. Graph paper showing 1 graph. Graph paper.
So at the end it says graph paper showing 1 graph. It means there is a visual representation as well. And it also says press H to hear the graph. Because we are in audio trace mode, let's press letter H.
H. Play a graph.
Playing graph. Hear the sound? Let's play it again.
H. Play a graph.
I will explain the sound. At first you heard beginning and end end of the tone, you heard a something like static noise. The static noise can mean two things. I will first explain the first one. It means that the graph is already being constructed, but it is not just yet visible in our screen, because as we all know, lines are continuous when it comes to the Cartesian plane, and when it comes to the linear equation, it is continuous. Thus, static noises just indicates that the line being constructed is not yet visible in our screen, in the screen of our computers or devices, and at the end it's not already visible again. It already passes the display of our monitors or screens. That's why it has a static noise. Now for the tone.
Page play and graph.
Let's play it again. If you will observe carefully, the tone started at first in a lower pitch, and that lower pitch indicates that the first point, or the point where the tone started, is in the lower part of the Cartesian plane. Then, as the pitch of the tone goes up, that indicates that the graph is going up as well. And if you will listen carefully, from the initial tone up to the tone at the end, and your earphones or headphones is a stereo, you will observe that the lower pitch tone is coming from the left, going to the right, increasing its pitch. That means the graph is starting from the left side, going to the right. And as it goes to the right, the graph shows that the slope is going upward. Now, let's give another example. So, in order again to turn off or to exit the audio trace mode, either press Alt plus T or Escape. I'll just press Escape.
Escape audio trace off. Expression list complementary landmark. Expression 1.
Now we are
Y
back
MX
to
plus
the
D as graph. The audio
expression
trace.
list.
Press Alt T. Edit multi-line blank.
So, as you can see, we use the standard form of a linear equation for the first example. But for this next example, we will use the typical linear equation writing, wherein M and B already has values in it, and not in this way, not separated, not equating their values in a separate expression. So I will press the N key in order to go to the end of this expression.
End of block Y equals MX plus B.
End of block Y is equal to MX plus B. Actually, there are other terminologies and things we have to know navigating and using this graphing calculator, but since this is just an overview, I'll just show you what this can do and how will it be able to help students with visual disability in their analytic geometry subject in this new system, new normal setup of education. So I'll just press backspace to delete everything.
Backspace. Blank. Expression 1. M equals 1 edit multi-line blank.
Expression 1, m is equal to 1. Since we have deleted the expression 1 earlier, the expression below it, previously in the second expression and third expression, will go up since the expression 1 is already empty. Automatically it will go up in order to fill the vacant expression box. So I will delete that as well. Press delete.
Delete blank. Backspace 1.
Oh, press
M equals, you need
backspace
something on
rather.
both. Backspace equals. Backspace M.
There we go.
Backspace. Expression 1. B equals 2 edit
Now
multi-line blank.
the b is equal to 2 goes up since m is equal to 1 is already deleted.
Backspace.
So,
Backspace.
delete.
Backspace.
And now everything is deleted. So press down arrow to confirm it.
Down arrow. Expression 2. Edit multi-line
Expression
blank.
2, edit multiline blank.
Down arrow. Expression 3. Edit multi-line
Expression
blank.
3, edit multiline
Down
blank.
arrow. Expression 4. Edit multi-line
Expression
blank.
4, edit multiline blank. So let's go up again. Expression 1 box.
Up arrow. Expression 2. Edit up arrow. Expression 1.
Here we
edit
go.
multi-line blank.
Let's type in the second example equation. This is still a linear equation. Let's try y
Y
is
equals
equal
equals.
to
Y equals, you need something on dash
negative
minus x.
x
Y equals dash minus
minus 2
2. Y equals minus x minus 2 as graph to audio trace. Press
as
Alt T.
graph to audio trace. Press Alt T. So as I have said earlier, since the graph of the first example started from the lower left going to the upper right, since its slope is positive or upward, the pitch started from the lower tone to the higher tone. Now, since the equation in here, it has a negative slope, or the value of m is negative, therefore we are expecting that the slope of the graph that will be created is downward. Thus, the tone must start from a higher pitch going down to the lower pitch, wherein the graph starts at 0, -2. So let's audio trace. Let's press Alt plus T.
Alt T. Graph paper showing one.
Graph paper showing one graph. Then let's press the letter H to hear the audio representation of the graph.
H play a graph.
Let's listen to that again.
H play a graph.
There we go. Indeed, it started from a higher tone to a lower tone, from left going to right. As you have observed, in the nearly end of the tone, it plays a static sound again, but there's still the tone is still ongoing. Let's listen to that again.
H play a graph.
Stat. There we go. There was a static while the tone of the graph is still ongoing. Therefore, it's not yet out of our screen. But why did the static sound appeared? That is the second indicator of the static. When the tone is still playing, it means that the graph is still being constructed. But the static, if you hear a static sound, that means the graph is already below the x-axis. Therefore, the graph has a negative y values, y equivalents. that's the indication that that graph or that part of the graph is in the lower part of the Cartesian plane. Again, let's listen to that in order for us to observe more. That is the second symbol or second interpretation of the static sound. Those examples are just for linear equations. Can we do quadratic equations? Equations in the third degree, fourth degree? Yes, we can. I will just give a passing example for quadratic equation, and maybe in the next videos we can do more, and I may be able to explain to you more
5:10 a.m.
something about a specific function, let's say for linear equations or for quadratic equations. You can actually do graph, circles, ellipse, hyperbolas, parabolas with foci, with focus, using this graphing calculator. And yes, we may be able to tackle that in the future videos. So for the last set of example, let's go with parabola. Now let's turn off again the audio trace mode, and now I'll try to use the Alt plus T in order for us to see that there's no difference whether you use the escape key or the Alt plus T command. It will just do the same. Close the audio trace mode. Alt plus
audio trace off.
T.
Expression list
Audio
complementary
trace
landmark.
mode.
Expression 1. Y equals minus
Then,
x minus 2
I will
audio
delete
trace.
this.
Result T. Edit multi ed.
X
Unknown available. Your battery is running low. Dialog. Your battery is running low. You might want to plug in your PC. Close button. Alt C. Alt C. Alt Desmos Graphing Calculator.
excuse me for a while.
Charging battery.
There we go. Now,
NVDA tab. Expression 1. Y equals minus x minus 2 as graph. The audio.
I will just delete this previous
Y
equation
equals backspace. X.
by pressing the end key to go to the end of the equation and pressing backspace.
Backspace.
There we go. Now I will enter a quadratic equation, and let's go to the most common quadratic equation, most basic. Let's go to y
Y
is equal to
Y
x
Y equal caret superscript 2
squared
Y plus
plus
baseline plus 2 x Y equal plus 1 Y equals x superscript 2 baseline plus 2x plus 1 as graph. The audio trace.
Now
Press
as
Alt T.
graph to audio trace, press Alt plus T. Alt
Alt T.
plus
Audio
T.
trace on. Use arrow keys to navigate. Enter the graph.
So
Press H to disable audio trace.
here's the visual representation again of the graph, and now let's press H to listen to the audio representation.
H play graph.
Listen carefully.
H play graph.
Did you hear the difference between the audio representation of a linear equation or graph of a linear equation and the audio representation of the graph of a quadratic equation? A line and a parabola. Difference between their audio tracing In a parabola, it is just a one directional tone from either from a lower pitch going to a higher pitch or higher pitch going to a lower pitch. Now, in this audio tracing, we heard that the tone started at a,
Page play graph.
let's listen to that again, a higher going to a lower pitch, then going up a higher pitch again. Why is that so? If we remember, parabola is something like a curve shaped graph. Thus, there is a visually, if you will draw the graph, you will start in a certain point going down and curving, drawing a curve to go up again in the Cartesian plane. And that's what happens in the tone. First, it started in a higher pitch going down, and after going down, when it reaches its vertex, the pitch of the tone went up again, indicating the curve or the turn on the curve of the graph. That is when the graph is opening upward. Well, you notice that the tone started in a higher pitch going down to a lower pitch, then going up again to a higher pitch. When you hear that tone, when you hear that tone, it means the graph is opening upward, because the tone started from a higher going to a lower and returned to a higher pitch again. Now, I will just let you hear a graph that has an opening to downward. What are their difference? What is this graph or the audio representation of this graph difference to the audio representation of the graph opening downward? So again, escape
Audio trace.
I will just turn the y is equal to x squared plus 2x plus 1 into y is equal to negative x squared plus 2x plus 1.
Home, blank, beginning right arrow, blank equals. Right arrow, blank x, left arrow, blank x, dash minus. OT, graph paper showing one graph paper, audio trace on, use arrow keys.
Now, I turned on the audio graph and I will press H.
Page play graph.
You hear the tone? Let's play it again.
Page play graph.
Started from a lower pitch going to a higher pitch and goes back to a lower pitch again. That means that's the tone, or that's the pattern of a graph opening downward, going from a lower pitch to a higher pitch down to a lower pitch again. So more sample and deeper explanation of this web application, Desmos Graphing application, Desmos Graphing Calculator on the next videos. Again, this is just an overview, and if you like this video, please consider liking it and press the subscribe button, because for sure this is not just the only video I will be uploading, and this might be a continuous video tutorial concerning this audio graphing calculator in the web as a web application. So again, thank you so much, keep safe always, and God bless.